Can the Jets count for getting Aaron Rodgers back?
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
I mean, now, outside of that, they might have gotten worse. Like, numbers 2 through 53 on the roster might be worse heading into 2024 than they were heading into 2023. But theoretically, you get Aaron Rodgers for more than 4 snaps this time.
I want to say this. This is very anecdotal. But in the many years that we've been doing this, I do feel like most off seasons, it's easy to build optimism for a team, right? It's easy to build optimism, and you think, oh, they've made these moves. Overall, they're going to be better. But there's usually like 1 or 2 teams that I highlight where it's like, it doesn't feel as good, right? It doesn't feel like they got better. A couple years ago, I remember it was the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like they improved. Then the next year, they offset it, felt like they improved. Either way, they still landed at 12 wins and lost in the playoffs. That's what they do. This offseason feels like maybe more of the good teams may have regressed a touch. It feels less comfortable for teams like, say, the Ravens, with the way they've been just gutted from a coaching and front office and offensive line, player and overall player standpoint. Do the Ravens feel a little bit worse? The Bills maybe feel a little bit worse. I get it, youth movement, but it just feels a little bit worse. The Cowboys, again, feels a little bit worse than they were. Anecdotally, I think there's a few more teams that are like that, whereas you could build optimism for these other teams. But to your point on the Jets, I was going to say, yeah, you can cheat and say, okay, it's not necessarily because of the decisions that they made, but yeah, like with Aaron Rodgers coming back, they should be much better.
Yeah, and I do think it's cheating. I mean, Rodgers is already there. They're just getting him back.
It's okay.
At
This
point.
Isn't an official list. There aren't rules here. We're not breaking rules. It's our show, Sam.
Yeah.
We could do whatever we want.
Right, and my preference would be to disqualify them. But Tyron Smith coming in at left tackle, Olu Fashanu in the draft to back up Tyron Smith, who will miss some time injured because he always does. The great Morgan Moses coming in to man the other tackle spot. John Simpson, all right, that's less exciting, but theoretically is another potential upgrade at guard. The offensive line is what I'm saying has been fairly significantly rebuilt in a way that should materially affect the play of Aaron Rodgers and not have him running for his life for the first 4 snaps he drops back. Now, the flip side of that is they had some losses on the defensive line. They lost Bryce Huff, who was the most productive, small sample size, situational pass rusher, if you like, in the NFL for the last 2 seasons. They lost him in free agency. They also traded away John Franklin Myers, which is a move I don't really understand, for a team, again, that theoretically is in a win-now Super Bowl window. Why would you get rid of a player that you know is good?
Brought in Hassan Reddick.
No, that's true.
You got Will McDonald.
Yeah, but
brought in Javon Kinlaw.
This is what I'm saying, that if the totality, the net of the 2024 defensive line, I don't think looks as strong right now as the net of the 2023 defensive line. Very minimum, it's a wash.
Yeah, and then the boomer bust nature here is not only is it Tyron Smith, who you mentioned, will get injured more often than not, at least a little bit, or at least have to play injured, whatever it might be. Mike Williams coming off injury at receiver. Aaron Rodgers coming off injury. But if all those guys are healthy, yeah, the Jets are much better. And that's a nice compliment. Mike Williams is a really nice compliment to what Garrett Wilson brings as your high volume target at receiver. And Alan Lazard catching slants from Rodgers if he's still there.
I forget who made this point. It might have been Will Parkinson when I was on his podcast, was saying that one thing about the Fashanu pick that I think is really good for the Jets, not only is Fashanu a backup plan insurance for if and when Tyron Smith inevitably gets hurt during the season, he has to play 4 games, because Tyron Smith is always hurt, veteran, he doesn't practice basically anymore.
The practice rep.
So you're going to get Fashanu effectively a starting set of practice reps all the way through the season and have him there as insurance for if and when Tyron Smith. A lot of these guys that if they're not going to start, they're getting backup reps throughout the year, and that's not helping them a lot, So they're trying to get better based off like a smattering of reps at the end of the practice, whereas Fashanu is potentially getting all of the reps at left tackle and then just not necessarily playing until Tyron Smith eventually gets hurt to the point where he can't suit up this week. So it's actually a great landing spot for him, not just for that insurance policy, the fact that he's probably going to play some this year, but he gets to practice probably for the entirety of the year without having to necessarily go out there. They can seriously work on his technique, his sets, his footwork, like all the things that need cleaning up just a little bit.
That's a good point. Yeah.
We can fix that while we wait for him to have to get out there.
It's a good point. Not surprised it came from a Jets podcast.
Right.
That's good. Look, it's optimism season. By the way, are you with me? I've declared over the last couple of years I will endorse, buy into all rookie minicamp, hype. Did you see Keon Coleman the other day?
No.
Wide open.
Wait, the rep where he just ran a post against Air?
A little curl.
Oh, okay.
Against Air.
All right.
Wide open, though.
Got it. Yeah.
Just saying. Separation. Open.
Yeah.
Open targets for Josh Allen. I'm here for all of it.
I'm only here for the bits that look impressive.
Okay, fine.
If they don't
like
look
Jahmyr
impressive,
Gibbs cooking a linebacker and one-on-ones during training
you
camp.
you show me a rep that looks amazing, I'm in. You show me a rep that looks like just a regular practice rep.
No, the on-air ones.
So
We need the all-timer for me was Giants Twitter declaring victory. Daniel Jones rookie season.
Yeah.
On a swing pass.
That was
like a little high too, I think.
One thing that I saw a video of, I think it was Ladd McConkey, and the Guardian caps, the big scrum caps on top of the helmets, those really don't help small players.
No.
Because they make your head look absurdly large, and now a small player looks even smaller by comparison to his own head.
You look like the little alien guy on the Flintstones.
The alien
little
guy.
green guy.
Oh, yeah. What the hell was he called?
Look him up.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Kazoo?
Kazoo?
Gazoo? What?
I don't know. I know who you mean, though. You're right.
The Flintstone alien guy. Can we get a picture of the Flintstone alien guy? This is Guardian.
Eli in the booth doesn't know any word you just said. He's not.
Flintstones was
not aware of any of that.
This was a cartoon.
It's a cartoon beyond, before our time, let alone his time.
It trailed into our time.
No, they were still showing reruns in our time, but wasn't that from the 60s or whatever?
It's Gazoo.
Okay, with a G.
With a G, I nailed it.
Yeah,
that's what the Guardian cap guys look like.
Yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying is the Guardian cap is not friendly to already small-looking human beings when they put them on, because they somehow get made to look even smaller in relative to their own head. Did you see that we had the Dr. Alan Sills, the NFL's chief medical, whatever he is. 2 years in a row, we've had him on at the Super Bowl. Oh, here we go.
Comes.
Eli, there you go.
There he is.
Look at that.
It's the Guardian caps.
Now
the original design for the Guardian.
Can you quickly Photoshop Ladd McConkey's face and his number in there, and then we've nailed it.
That's what we're here for.
So we had him on 2 years in a row at the Super Bowl talking about various things, and one of the things we asked him about this year was if the Guardian caps are supposedly better for preventing concussions, why are they not now used in game? And he was like, well, you've got to trial these things. You don't know what, unintended consequences might come from it, yada, yada, yada. It gave out a long and pretty good, actually, to be fair, explanation of why that hadn't happened. They have now been cleared and approved for use in game.
Great line by Dr. Allen. That was just months before they approved it.
Right. But
he BS'd us all the way through the answer.
I wonder how many people are actually going to use those in game, if any. Because it's not like I don't think players love those things, and yet it's like, all right, training camp.
Are they putting logos on these things? I
don't know.
It's bad for. I don't want to sound like whatever, but it's bad for branding.
Sure, but it also raises the question again, which keeps coming up. If that is a better mechanism for preventing concussion, why have we not fundamentally redesigned helmets so that it's not a hard shell on the outside? Because that's effectively a modified scrum cap, right? Yeah. The thing you know as a guy where's your picture? As a man that's worn scrum caps now, right? That's what it is. It's just a giant modified scrum cap that goes on over the helmet, right? But the theory appears to be that if the absorbing padding is on the outside as opposed to the inside, it's better for you than having a hard shell cracking and moving your head around. So if that's the case, why have we not fundamentally decided on a complete redesign of helmets? And you kind of come back to the answer that you hit on, which is it's an aesthetic thing. It's branding. It's harder to make a scrum cap have a Texans logo down the side of it than it is, a hard shell. Is that what's keeping us away from unscrambling the brains of NFL players?
It might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would raise some questions about how much you really care about player safety.
And I'm over here asking about the branding and can you get a logo on those things? But yeah, it's a good point by you.